you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Livin the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you with another growth MINIsode. This will be a bite-sized episode with the goal of setting a growth-minded intention and focus for the upcoming week. Each MINIsode is going to offer a quote that encapsulates the theme of the week. And after the quote, we're going to dive into a weekly focus, something small that we can concentrate on for the following 7 days. As well as we're going to touch on a physical activity and a nutritional tip that will better assist us in working towards a more healthy and optimal way of living our own dream life. And each MINIsode is going to end with the recommendation for the week. The recommendation could be anything from a podcast, a book, an article, a paper, anything that I think is going to help better educate ourselves toward the overall focus of the week. And if this is your first time listening to a MINIsode, the goal is to listen on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to be ready to start the challenges of the week on Monday. So listen to just one MINIsode every week, and as that week finishes, move on to the next week's MINIsode. I mean, you could start all the way over at MINIsode number 1, or you can join up with the team right now. These MINIsodes will only be as beneficial to you as you're willing to make them. So if you're playing along with the weekly focuses or the physical activity and nutrition tips, it'll help you be much more successful to do this with someone in your life. So grab an accountability buddy and share on your social media platforms the challenges of the week. You never know who is going to be quietly watching and rooting for you, and you never know whose life you will truly inspire just by sharing your journey, both the challenges and the successes. You're going to be far more likely with a support system and a social network to be successful. Get someone that's chasing similar fitness goals as you and do this with them. And as you work on making your life healthier and you motivate your network through your positive actions and your lifestyle choices, the ripple effect, it's unimaginable with who will be touched by you motivating and posting and including others in your journey. So let's dive into this week's Growth MINIsode. This week's quote comes from author C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis says, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. The past is in the past. It happened. There are things that we love about our past, and maybe there are things that you would change. Either way, it's all in the past. No, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And I believe that when it comes to changing the ending, in order for you to live your dream life, it has to do with some wiring of your mindset to think the right way. There's a really cool fable that I heard that I really want to share and read with you. It's called Maybe So, Maybe Not. And it goes like this. A farmer and his son had a beloved horse who helped the family earn a living. One day, the horse ran away, and their neighbors exclaimed, "Your horse ran away. What terrible luck." The farmer replied, "Maybe so, maybe not." A few days later, the horse returned home, leading a few wild horses back to the farm as well. The neighbor shouted, "Your horse has returned," and it brought several horses home with him. What great luck. The farmer replied, "Maybe so, maybe not." Later that week, the farmer's son was trying to break one of those wild horses, and the horse threw him to the ground, breaking his leg. The neighbors cried, "Oh, your son broke his leg. What terrible luck." And the farmer replied, "Maybe so, maybe not." A few weeks later, soldiers from the National Army marched through town recruiting all of the boys for the army. They did not take the farmer's son because he had a broken leg. The neighbor shouted, "Your boy is spared. What tremendous luck." To which the farmer replied, "Maybe so, maybe not. We will see." It's really impossible to tell whether anything that happens is good or bad. You never know what the consequences of misfortune or good fortune will be, as only time is going to tell the whole entire story. Things may look great at the start, but over time, it may not become what you had imagined it to be. Similarly, you feel bad about something, but someday it could be one of the best things that happened to you. Everything changes. The universe is ever changing. There's no room for judgment, for nothing is truly black or white. To be able to forget the sorrows of your past and to not worry about the uncertainty of the future, to be able to truly live in the present and see life not as good, not as bad, just as it is. This way of thinking is something that I've really, really tried to implement into my life. And it's crazy to think about, but a lot of the people I listen to when they talk about their success stories, their rock bottom was the catalyst to get them to their mountaintop. So after hearing that story, did it do anything for you? Did it change the way you think at all? Maybe so, maybe not. I guess we'll see. This week's focus is when you feel like things aren't going your way, when you feel like the universe is picking on you, and when you have one of those, oh my gosh, when it rains, it pours types of moments in your week, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Or what the hell is going on here? Instead ask one of these 5 questions or all of these 5 questions. What is right about this? What gifts and talents do I have right now that can help me with this situation? How can I have fun overcoming this obstacle? What is it that I can learn from this? And where is the gift or blessing in this situation? These 5 questions may bring a clarity to the situation that will give you positive control as to what it is doing for you, as opposed to making you a defenseless victim who this is happening to. 5 questions. What is right about this? What gifts, talents do I have right now that can help me with this situation? How can I have fun overcoming this? What is it that I can learn from this? And where's the gift or blessing in this? Moving on, this week's physical activity tip. Instead of a tip, we're going to do a challenge. Every day this week, I challenge you to join me in completing a squat and a push-up goal every day. The goal every day this week, 100 squats and 50 push-ups. You can break them up however you want, and whatever regression of the exercise or progression fits your ability level at this point in time. Toe push-ups, knee push-ups, chair squats, deep squats, whatever you want to do, as long as by the end of the day, every day, when you go to bed at night, you have done 100 squats and 50 push-ups. If you post on your stories or prove to me that you did all 7 days this week, I'll for sure give you a shout out on the next minisode that I record. So who's coming with me? 100 squats, 50 push-ups every day. However you can get them done every day this week. All right, moving on. This week's nutrition tip is all about fatigue. Fatigue is something I hear about so often. Do you find that you go throughout your day, you sometimes get to a point where you are completely exhausted for what may seem like no reason? You've just been sitting all day, or you can't figure out why you're so tired? Well, the truth is that there's a countless amount of reasons that this could be happening to you and why your energy is drained. A lot of the times it is our sedentary activity, but sometimes low nutrient levels are at the top of the list of reasons why you could be tired. So I'm going to talk to you about 6 common nutrient deficiencies that cause fatigue. The first one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is a group of fat-soluble steroids that act more like a hormone than a vitamin and are responsible for increasing intestinal absorption of calcium, magnesium, phosphate, and other biological effects. Ways to increase your vitamin D levels are to, most importantly, spend time in the sunlight. That's the biggest one. This is one of the best sources of this nutrient. You can also consume fatty fish and seafood, mushrooms, include egg yolks in your diet, or you could take a supplement, of course. Some experts also recommend trying a UV lamp, such as one of those mood lamps or an infrared or near-infrared light product like I use from the company Joovv, Joovv. They make great products, a little on the expensive side, but I highly recommend if that's something you want to invest in. So number 1 is vitamin D. Number 2, vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin involved in metabolism and is an important nutrient for your DNA. A unique fact about vitamin B12 is that it's the only nutrient in the human diet that simply comes from animal products. The best source of vitamin B12 is meat, including both red and white meat, fish, seafood, eggs and milk have some vitamin B12 as well. Plants and fungi, however, have no need for B12, and therefore they don't contain any of it. So number 2 is vitamin B12. Number 3 is iron. Iron is a mineral that the body needs for growth and development. Your body uses iron to make a protein in the red blood cells that carries oxygen from the lungs to all parts of the body. It's called hemoglobin. It is used also to make a protein that provides oxygen to your muscles, myoglobin. So hemoglobin and myoglobin, iron plays a huge role in these two things. Your body also needs iron to make some hormones. Some great sources of iron are beans and lentils, tofu, baked potatoes, cashews, and dark leafy veggies such as spinach, for example. So iron, number 3. Number 4, CoQ10. CoQ10, you might not have heard about this. CoQ10 has been shown to help improve heart health and blood sugar regulation. It assists in prevention and treatment of cancer and reduces the frequency of migraines. It could also reduce the oxidative damage that leads to muscle fatigue, skin damage, and brain and lung diseases. Primary dietary sources are oily fish such as salmon or tuna, organ meats such as liver, and whole grains, and of course supplementation. So CoQ10, CoQ10 is number 4. Number 5, magnesium, and a huge percentage of our population is deficient in magnesium. Magnesium plays just crucial roles in the body. I think it's up towards like 300 metabolic processes that it's involved in, such as supporting muscle, nerve function, energy production. Low magnesium levels don't cause symptoms in the short term, which is kind of, it's a little bit weird there. Like you're not going to immediately feel it. But chronically, low levels can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and osteoporosis. So magnesium, super important. Magnesium-rich foods include avocado, almonds, dark chocolate, nice, spinach, cashews, pumpkin seeds, bananas, leafy greens, legumes, tofu, salmon, and just tons more. You just have to be careful because some things that are grown in our current soil in the United States lack the magnesium because of the way that our soil is. So supplementation may be something that you need here as well. And one last thing that's worthy of noting is low food intake, meaning overall low calorie intake, could also cause fatigue. So low food equals low fuel. And it's common that for those who undereat to feel fatigue. So take a look at this list to make sure if you're in constant fatigue mode to check out to see if you're nutrient deficient in vitamin D, vitamin B12, iron, CoQ10, magnesium, or just overall eating too low calorie. And lastly, this week's recommendation is to check out a couple of books. The first book is called The Urban Monk by Pedram Shojai. This book was amazing. He lived like a monk and he talks about it in this book, and he kind of takes all of the skills and the thought processes and he breaks it down to where us as average laymen can understand and implement into our lives some really cool things. It could help you discover how the calmness of Zen masters can help you stop time, refuel, and refocus on the things that really matter. You got to check it out. The Urban Monk by Pedram Shojai. I'm not much of a book reader, but the audiobook was really good. So I highly recommend if you're someone that just likes to listen to things, you can stack your audiobook with like whatever, physical activity, your walks, your laundry, your chores, whatever it is. The second book is also about a monk. It's called Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. If you don't know about Jay Shetty, oh my gosh, you got to find some of his work. He's Instagram, he's podcast, he's awesome. Start with this book. He's amazing. And some of the stuff that he talks about is life-changing, inspiring. So Think Like a Monk and The Urban Monk. I'll include these details in the show notes of this minisode. And that's it, my friends, for this week's Growth Minisode. Each week, we're going to focus on something new and dial in a different aspect of physical activity and nutrition. Share with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. Post on your social media stories when you break down why the challenges throughout the week are happening for you and not happening to you. Post a video of you hitting your 100 squats and 50 push-ups, or of you eating your nutrient-rich foods to help you with fatigue. And make sure that you tag me and share your journey. Let me know if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Livin the Dream team that I can discuss on future episodes. I will be right here with you working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.